Welcome back to K&L Farms. I'm Ken. I hope this video finds you well. And I think somewhere in the beginning of the video, or either the thumbnail or the description said from start to finish, so I'm going to show you the whole thing. The other thing I was going to mention to you is I'll have some of these things listed in my Amazon account, and it does help the channel financially somewhat if you'd like to go take a look. Okay, so let's start out with we're going to end up with in a Mylar bag. I'm going to illustrate how I do it in a Mylar bag, and the Mylar bags are also listed in the description. But you can put any product that you'd like in the Mylar bag. I don't care if it's pancake mix, flour, beans, rice, sugar, anything you'd like in a Mylar bag. But when we start out, at least in our house, in the kitchen, there'll be this container in the kitchen. Of course, the containers are different sizes, so there'll be one for flour, one for sugar, on down, different sizes. So if I go and I buy, this is a 10-pound bag of flour. I think this is I'm not going to put this pancake mix inside of the Mylar bag because we go through it pretty rapidly. So there's no reason to waste a bag because we'll consume that. But as far as sugar and flour goes, put it in the main container. Once this main container inside the kitchen is full, then I take a mason jar. This is all short term. I take mason jar. Now, I didn't put a mason jar in my Amazon store because I get them at Walmart when they go on sale in canning season. So that's how we get started. If this is full, or excuse me, if this is empty and I've got 2 of these in the pantry, take this out, dump it in here, wait for the next round, because sometimes we'll get a considerable amount of flour. Say it goes on sale. We might get, like 10 bags of these, and the same thing with sugar. Now, when I go to sugar and Mylar bags, I'll have to remember there's a trick between Mylar bags and sugar and flour. It's different, but once you see it, you'll kind of know what you're going on. Also, I'm going to put a couple images up later on. I was on my way to town this morning to get pellets. I had to get another half a ton of pellets for the house, and got some pretty good pictures. I think that they're interesting, and I'll put some up here in just a little bit. So the other thing I'm going to tell you is I think they call them a hair straightener. I'm trying to illustrate that. In fact, I'm going to plug it in. The caution with this is this gets extremely hot. Now there's a gauge on the bottom, and I've never actually figured out, oh, that's like on a 10. I just go with, wow, that's hot. So let me get that plugged in just a minute, and I'll do that. And let's get back to the difference between flour and sugar. Flour, you put an oxygen absorber in the Mylar bag. Sugar, you do not. Do not put an oxygen absorber in the sugar because it'll turn into a brick. By the time you get the bag open, it'll turn into a brick. The other kind of trick, I guess I'd say, is some people are going to empty out this container, put it in the Mylar bag. They cut the label off. They put the date on the label, put the label inside the bag. The only problem I've seen is you go to your pantry and you have a bunch of these bags, not identified in any way, cut the bag open. Oh, that's sugar. Oh, well, the flour's in the next bag. Cut the bag open. Oh, that's pancake mix. Go to the next bag, cut the bag open. Oh, that's sugar. So my advice, take a felt marker. I write the date on it and the product. Flour, the date, pancake mix, the date, sugar. So when I go in the pantry, I can see external. I don't have to cut the lid off of all of them. So let's keep moving on. And I told you that we'd go to finish for long-term food. Now I got to get a plug in real quick. Okay, got it plugged in. It's been a long time, and the light is blinking. I think that means, holy crap, this thing's going to get hot. That's off. That's in the on position. And yep, it's getting hot, so I don't want to catch it on fire. The other thing I was going to tell you, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, I try and do this outside, well, primarily not in the kitchen, because you may see, before I know it, especially if I have 4 bags of this, 4 bags of this, and 4 bags of this, and a bunch of these, before you know it, the whole kitchen's got flour and sugar and pancake mix all over it. And when your wife gets home, she's not in a good mood because you messed up her kitchen while she was gone. So just open the container, and remember, this is flour. Flour takes an oxygen absorber, and what I do is I don't open this. This is sealed lid. I don't open this until I get ready to. I'll get my product, a couple products here, get ready to drop it in, and then seal it. You want this exposed to atmosphere the least amount of time. That's number one. Number two is, if say you only had half a bag. Say I bought this bag, and these are empty in the pantry. I take half the bag, I put half the bag in one jar, half the bag in another jar, and this container's only half full. You put the oxygen absorber in there, and the oxygen absorber has to remove all this air that doesn't have any product in it, and it has a difficult time. So try and use a bag in size according to the amount of product you have left out. In this case, the amount of flour we have left out. So let me see if I can get some of that dumped in here without pouring it everywhere, because the price of food anymore is terribly expensive. That's why I'm trying to illustrate a little bit. And I'm in the garage, so my wife won't get upset if I get the garage dirty. Well, I want to dump quite a bit in there, and then I'm going to pack it down a little bit. And I'm going to go with that. Okay, so in fact, I may put more in there, because once you get it packed down, see what I mean? That's only about this full. It's still got several inches. If you put the oxygen absorber in there, seal it up, the oxygen absorber has to remove all the air that doesn't have any product in it. So let's put some more in that bag. Okay, that's about right as far as height so far, because you want to be able to peel that, and you need to seal the top of the bag approximately 1 inch. I want to seal about 1 inch. I'll show you that in just a minute. Let me pack it down a little bit. I might put a little bit more in there. Trying to get as much in the bag as you can without the bag tipping over. And remember, flour takes an oxygen absorber. Sugar does not. Let's put some more in there. That's good. Let's try that. Let's check that. I'm just going to set that here. Get that flour out of that seal. Kind of pull that shut. Now, I've seen people do it with a 2x4 and an iron. Take an iron and do it. I just like using that. I think it's called a hair straightener, and I'll show you what I do. Now, I'm going to verify it's hot enough. I'm right-handed, so I usually do it from the right hand. Put that on there and hold it for a little bit. Put that on there and hold it for a little bit. And you want enough room left over that you can slip that oxygen absorber in there. Now I'm going to probably seal this one, because remember, the sugar doesn't take an oxygen absorber. So I don't have to open up the container again. Seal that up. Okay. Open the oxygen absorber. And you're trying to move, once you get the seal broke, you're trying to move rapidly. Put the seal back on there. Open this up, which is hot. Slip that in there. Once you get that slipped in there, kind of get it down in this container, and then I go at a 45. At 45 towards that oxygen absorber to take some of that room off. Hold it for a minute and do it again. You want to make sure that it's sealed tight, and you'll be able to feel it. Like that. That's still pretty warm. That's kind of what you want for I'll give you an example out here. Kind of a crank in this, but that's okay. That's a full bag of long-term storage flour. I'd write on there. Now I don't have what I'll do is more than likely take the rest of this flour, put it in a couple mason jars in the pantry, because we just purchased this and the mason jars are empty. Let's try and do the same thing with with sugar, and then I'll write on the label. Okay, open this container. Get the blowtorch away from you so you don't melt the bag inadvertently. Open the sugar. Now this sugar, I don't know if it's all going to fit in here either. I kind of tip it down, open it up a little bit, tip it down, try not to spill as much as possible. Once you get it started, it goes better. And it'll pack down too. Now I can get it up on the table and pack it in there a little bit. Kind of get it down in there a little bit. Trying not to spill or dump the bag. Probably got out of 10 pounds, is that 10 pounds? Yep, that's 10 pounds. I probably got, I don't think there's an eighth left in there. And I might be able to get more than that in there too. In fact, I can. Out of a 10-pound bag of sugar, 1 gallon Mylar bag, let me seal this up and I'll show you the remainder in that bag. What's left inside that bag compared to the flour. Flour has maybe a quarter left, okay? Get it packed down. Get it cinched down a little bit. Kind of want to line it up a little bit. Get the hair rice and get started. Squeeze that down like that. Get it started a little bit. Go again. And I've always found this to be easier than an iron. Okay, that's getting pretty hot. I'll spin this again a little bit. I'm going to let that center cool off because it's getting pretty hot. Let that cool down a little bit. Go to the center, hold it on there. Let it go. That's another bag of product. And I don't know how much time has been elapsed with me explaining it, but those are 2 products. Put a label on it, put it in the pantry, you're good for considerable time. Okay, so I'm going to show you how much product I have left inside the sugar container. And then I'm going to do the same with the flour in just a minute. That's how much I have left in the sugar container with the 1 gallon Mylar bag. This is the flour. That's how much I have left in the flour container. So that gives you an idea of how much will fit in the Mylar bag. I'm not going to do the pancake mix, which I already mentioned. And that gives you an idea of how to, from start to finish, how to do long-term food and how we do short-term food. And I'm going to unplug this hair straightener before it catches the world on fire. Now there is a thermostat on this. I just never have really worked on the correct temperature it should be set at.